Hello, I am Nicola from Get Birth Confident. Thank you for joining me for today's bite-sized hypnobirthing. These are 5-10 minute hypnobirthing sessions where I share information with you in your lunch break. You can bring your lunch and enjoy. So in today's session, I'm going to be talking about birth partners and giving you some really good tips for birth partners. So if you've got your birth partner there, brilliant. If not, then I will be sharing this on the grid afterwards so they can catch up later. I really recommend you getting your birth partners to watch this one. So, the birth partner role, such an important role. It can't be overstated enough how important the birth partner role is. It really is a team effort. They know your likes, they know your dislikes. They can kind of recognise those subtle signs in you where how you're kind of feeling, and it really is just a team effort. They are going to be responsible for pretty much everything except for the giving birth aspect. So let's dive in then to my top tips. How can your birth partner get prepared? How can they help you? How can they support you? What do they need to do? Well, my first tip is actually to sit down together and have a really frank discussion about what it is that you need from them. How do you need them to support you? What do you want them to be doing? And actually, can they fulfill that? So I'd say it's just really important to get this conversation out of the way at this point during pregnancy. You don't want to discover in the birth room that they did not know what you expected of them. So have this conversation now. Most of the time you're on the same page, and that's great. They know what to expect. They know what you're looking for, and you have the conversation. Very occasionally those things don't necessarily marry up, and that's the time to say, do you need to bring in another birth partner, or in some cases the birth partner decides, or the partner, the other parent, they decide to take a step back for the birth, and someone else to fulfill that role. So that's just a discussion to have at this stage when you are pregnant. So that's my tip number one. Tip number two is really to prepare together in pregnancy. So we talk about birth plans in hypnobirthing and kind of doing the research and preparing and writing your birth plan. That's a really important process. But I really recommend that actually you do this process together. This obviously really involves them. It's really nice for them to be involved and to help you make the decisions and support you in making the decisions about what it is that you want from your birth. But also in knowing your birth plan in detail, knowing the reasons behind your decisions, this is really going to help them advocate for you in labour. So if anything comes up, if there's any questions from the midwife, they'll be able to answer them. They'll be able to answer any questions, explain any points that need clarifying. And then when it comes to making decisions in labour, which sometimes they do need to, decisions do need to be made in labour, then your birth partner is going to be much better placed to help you make those decisions, kind of liaise with healthcare professionals on your behalf. So really important to do that process together. So that's tip number two. Tip number three is mindset. Now, when we talk about hypnobirthing, we obviously talk a lot about mindset, and we naturally just think that that's the person that's giving birth, but actually it's really important that the birth partner works on their mindset as well. A confident birth partner is going to be much better placed to support you in birth, and actually them bringing their kind of positive vibes to the birth room, that's going to be a lot better for you, and they're going to just feel much more confident in supporting you, which in turn is going to make you feel like, yeah, they've got this, they know what they're doing, they're confident, they're as excited as me, and we're kind of in this together. So in terms of working on their mindset, the thing that I just suggest they start doing straight away, as you need to as well, is to start watching positive birth videos and start reading positive birth stories. We also talk about affirmations in hypnobirthing. for the pregnant person, but potentially they might want to look at some affirmations as well. They're really, really powerful. People use affirmations in all elements of life. We just happen to really focus on them in birth. But there's no reason to say that a birth partner couldn't have their own affirmations, that they, based on some of their own fears or feelings, they turn that around into a really positive, sort of hopeful statement that they can then place around and use that to work on their mindset as well. So number 3, mindset. Number 4 is to pack your birth bag together. This sounds like such a small thing, but actually this can have a really sort of positive impact on birth. So, well, first of all, it helps your birth partner to feel included. Second is that it would be really quite annoying if they were trying to find something during labour and they couldn't find it, and actually that might be a bit of a distraction to you if you can see them rustling around and you know exactly where it is. So if you've packed it together, they know where everything is, you're not going to be kind of worrying about them not being able to find something. And thirdly is it's really important for them to know what's inside the birth bag. So you're probably going to want to pack some things to help your comfort measures, to help set up your environment, and it's really important that they know what tools are kind of on hand to help you and assist you with your comfort measures and things during labour. So things like your environment, I really recommend packing your environment bits into one sort of separate bag, and then your birth partner can go and set up the birth environment for you. Again, you won't need to have anything to do with it because they've got it, they know what's in there. So that's number 4. And number 5 is birth partners, think of yourself as, this is probably potentially the most important tip, think of yourself as chief oxytocin generator. That is your primary role. So you're gonna help with lots of practical and emotional support, and that's really important. But the biggest thing that you can do, and the thing that you can do better than anyone, is to help the birthing person produce oxytocin. Now, I talked about the role of oxytocin and how important it is, and some really good tips for how to produce oxytocin in my last video, so I do recommend you go back and watch that. That was my last bite-sized hypnobirthing live, so definitely go back and watch that. But in terms of the birth partner role, your birth partner is someone that you love and you trust, so they are really well placed to help you produce oxytocin, because we produce it when we're in a with people that we love and trust, in an environment that feels comfortable and relaxed and safe. So birth partners, what can you do to help your loved one produce oxytocin? Lots of kisses and cuddles, and of course this is if the birthing person wants this on the day. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they're like, nope, I just want to be left alone. But really good idea to go in prepared with these things. So lots of comfort, kisses and cuddles, that's really going to help. Massage is incredible for oxytocin, so I really recommend you learning some massage techniques in advance and practicing them. Always good to produce oxytocin in pregnancy as well. Laughter is a really good one, and birth partners, you're probably the best person for this, because you know how to make that person laugh, you know what makes them tick. You might have some funny stories, maybe a funny story that you've never told before. That would be a good time to bring it out. Or maybe reminiscing, maybe some funny stories from a shared funny story that from both of your past, that could be a good time to bring it out and say, remember when this happened, and something that really, really makes them laugh. Also playing DJ. So playing DJ can be really good if you, especially in the earlier stages, if you know some tunes that really kind of make them feel good, then that could be a really good bit for the birth partner role as well. So those are my 5 top tips. If you have any questions, then pop them in the comments box. In the meantime, I did have some questions sent in advance, so I will answer those now. Just have a quick swig of tea. So someone asked what to pack in their hospital bags so that their birth partner feels included. To be honest with you, I think the best way that your birth partner is going to feel included isn't so much to do with the hospital bag and more to do with what I've already talked about in terms of including them in all of those kind of preparation stages. So I'd say in terms of them feeling included, that is the best thing that you can do, is them to feel really prepared and know what their role is, a really defined role of what you're expecting in the labour room. In terms of a bag though and what to pack, I really would recommend them packing their own bag, as a small overnight bag. Include obviously change of clothes, underwear, toothbrush, if they need anything like a phone charger, and snacks. Yeah, snacks is a good one. They are going to need to be hydrated, they're going to need energy, so if there's any snacks that they want, then get them to kind of pack their own bag, I would suggest. So that answers that one. And someone else asked, what can I do to ensure they understand the importance of their role? I think this does sort of go back to what I was talking about earlier in terms of communication. So communication is really, really important, and I really would recommend having some kind of frank discussions. Preparing together, really important in terms of them understanding how important that role is. And I can't not mention it, doing a hypnobirthing course. Most hypnobirthing courses will really cater to the birth partner role. So certainly on my course and a lot of other people who I know, the birth partner role will be included throughout. So there is a section talking about birth partner role, but also throughout we're constantly referring to what the birth partner could do at this point, how this relates to the birth partner, how the birth partner could help you with that particular element of hypnobirthing. So I would say doing a hypnobirthing course together is probably the best way that you could prepare together and make sure that they really understand their role and what they could be doing to help you. And just one final question. So someone asked how to involve their birth partner more in prep for birth. So again, hypnobirthing course. Also practicing hypnobirthing tools together. So I know when I was pregnant last year, myself and my husband found it was actually became like a really nice part of our evening routine, is that once we got our son to bed, we'd have a bit of evening time, and then before bedtime we took some time together to practice hypnobirthing tools. So we'd listen to a relaxation MP3, or sometimes my husband would read out a script. We would relax together. I'd get my hypnobirthing anchors, so my smells. Sometimes we'd couple it with a bit of massage. So we'd really kind of embed those hypnobirthing tools together, and it became a ritual every night. And so I really did, I associated him with my relaxation because we'd been practicing together, and it meant that he was really involved and included, and actually it felt like a really nice kind of bonding time with him and I and the baby, and also meant that he felt really confident as to what the hypnobirthing tools were and ready to kind of help me during labour if I needed it in terms of getting more relaxed. Writing a birth plan together, as I mentioned earlier, that's going to be really good for preparation, for them knowing what it is that you want and feeling really confident that they can advocate for you, because that's one of the most important aspects of their role, is to be the person that liaises with the medical professionals on your behalf when you're just wanting to kind of stay in the zone. So that's really important. Going to antenatal appointments with you, sometimes that's not possible, but if that is possible, then that can be a really good way for them to feel included and also to kind of be up to date with what's going on. And final one is to rehearse the birth environment. So we've already talked about that birth environment bag, but anything that they can do in advance to feel that they're prepared. So if you've already gathered together your things for your birth environment, then it's a really good idea for them to have a practice of setting that up so that they feel confident. So you could even practice that maybe one evening when you're going to be practicing your hypnobirthing tools anyway. That could be a good opportunity for them to say, right, tonight I'm going to set everything up from scratch so I know where we want things and what needs to be put out. And there was going to be another one. Oh, in terms of logistics, so possibly birth partner might want to do a bit of a practice run to the hospital if you're having a hospital birth. So what the best route is, how long it takes, what the car parking situation is there a drop-off point, what do I need to do about paying for parking, do I need coins or can I pay with cards? So really good for birth partners to feel that practical things like that are sorted out in advance because they've had a really good practice in advance. So I hope that covers a lot of what you were hoping to find out about the birth partner role. Obviously, it's a really, really extensive role. There's a whole host of things that they could help with, and that's definitely a conversation to have. On a hypnobirthing course, we do cover that in quite a lot of detail. If you have any questions, then drop them in the comments below. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in.